Hi guys, what is going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, I'm back with some elephant gameplay. I basically haven't played these guys a lot recently. I felt they were kind of a little bit overpowered and kind of made them not very fun to me. But since patch 3.1 there have been some changes. And so I thought it was time we took a quick look at them and see how they changed and whether they got better, worse, more enjoyable, that sort of thing. So let's get this replay going. It's not a very long replay. It's not going to be a particularly long video. I want to try and avoid going off on a massive ramble like I did on my Carthage sword video. But the basic main changes, the main key change that they've implemented is 24% armour reduction across the board on all elephants. So if we look at the body armour, it's now significantly less than it was pre-patch 3.1. So the main impact of this is that it means more units can damage them. Now, how has this implemented itself? Yes, more sword infantry, spear infantry, etc. can do damage, which is a good thing, a definite improvement. But it does, let me just say this down because we're going into combat in a minute, but it does mean, particularly with when they've got stomp and things and knockdowns, it does mean that sword infantry still struggle sometimes to get damage on them, and you don't get spectacular amounts of damage. So still a bit to go on that, but the main bonus is things like archers, and slingers can now do more damage to them, light artillery and that sort of thing, because they're not got so much body armor, so the lower armor piercing of units like archers mean that they can do actually more damage to them, whereas before they couldn't really do a lot to them. Now they have also added to the elephants as a bonus a stampede, which hopefully we'll see momentarily if I don't hit that tree, which is one of these. That's just activated. So stampede. As you say, not particularly effective as a move because, so Stampede, which I can't really show you because it doesn't show up in the replays, it gives a 10% debuff to impact damage, so it means you do less damage when you hit. But it is nice, it allows you to get a little bit of movement speed, cover a little bit of ground nice and quickly, which is a good thing, and enables you to get stuck into combat quite easily. So it's a nice little move from the point of the elephant, and without really adding an excessive amount of damage to other units, and it also enables them to sort of engage units in combat a little bit more, whereas before I think sometimes if you just wanted to run away from elephants completely, they'd have a hard time actually doing any damage, because as soon as they stop to sort of swing their tusks at you, you've already disappeared. So yes, it makes them able to engage a little bit more, but they can be damaged a little bit more following the changes to the body armour. Obviously this poor bloke with his punic mercenaries absolutely mullered. You know, obviously he got engaged by Romans, 3 elephants, and a handful of war dogs. So, you know, he didn't really stand a lot of chance. There's not really a lot he could do. It's not his fault. He just got cut down really quickly. I don't know why he didn't activate Ad Portus. It was a strange thing to not do, because no point in saving it for later, because he is not going to be around for much longer. Yeah, but he basically just got stomped into oblivion, and everyone turned on him. So the other change they've made to elephants is they've made some changes to Raw. So Raw traditionally is just a small morale debuff mechanic that used to give, I think, minus 13 morale to enemy units, but now it does minus 15 morale to enemy units, but more importantly gives them a movement speed debuff. So I think the general idea is, again, it's all about this sort of catching and holding idea. So the idea being that you can activate Roar as you're approaching enemies, which will slow them down that little bit, and then you can hit them with a Stampede. So, yeah, it's a change. I don't know if it's, yeah, it's slightly useful to elephants, but not too powerful, really. I think I just clip one of these spikes, do I? Oh, no, I managed to get around them. Yeah, you've got to watch out for stakes. Stakes do damage elephants, although they don't really do a great deal of damage. So yeah, you see a little bit, it's a bit of an idea. Oh, there we go, we activate a bit of Stampede there to gain a little bit of ground on these guys, try and force them into combat. So that's how that works. See how I managed to sort of basically force them into combat where they wanted to run away. And once engaged, they sort of felt obliged to fight. And then, you know, it's lucky we've got these tier 6 Romans turning up on the scene. In Testudo? No, we don't do that. But anyway, yes, we managed to force a fight with these guys. But yeah, the main change I wanted to show you was sort of some of the archer damage. So it's more significant. Yeah, then like that's 4,000 from a volley to his rear. It's not staggering, particularly considering these guys getting nearly 50,000 hit points per unit. But it's a lot improved over what it was Previously, if you remember, before, you know, 3 units of archers firing full-time at elephants could almost do, you know, just 1,000 or 2,000 damage. So, yeah, that's probably one of the main improvements. A few more units can now accessibly damage these enemies. You have a little bit of a charge into these guys. I know we've got this game in the bag. I know that I'm just sort of messing around now. For a massive range of stamps, you shouldn't really be stamping together and things like that. So yes, our elephants still are very powerful. They're certainly, definitely a force to be reckoned with on the battlefield. And if you haven't got a vengeance ability or anything like that, you really should be trying to avoid them really still with your infantry unless you have no choice. But you will be able to do at least a little more damage now. But you can be caught a little bit more easily as well, particularly with things like the movement speed debuff and the charge. So yeah, you've got to be a little bit careful. But they're certainly more vulnerable to things like archers, light artillery and that sort of thing. So, I don't know why it says defeat, because we actually won that battle. It's a slight replay bug. We actually won and capped out their base. But yes, so generally, I think it's a step in the right direction. You know, elephants are perfectly countable now. Obviously, things like javelins are still brutally effective against them, cut them down really quickly, doing a huge amount of damage. So the reduction in armour is definitely a good thing and a step in the right direction, is my feeling. So yes, still fun to play. I still don't think it's something I'm going to be playing loads of, although I will be kind of tempted to try and get for the next one, because when you start to get some of the armour, I think they look really quite cool at tier 7. But yes, so that's Carthage elephants. Let me know what you think about the changes in down below. Do you think it's made them much more killable, or do you think they're still sort of too powerful? So give the video a like, let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I shall see you all on the next episode.